Okay, today we're going to edit the dynamic weather effect so you can have sunny skies or rainy skies, whatever you want. Foggy days, it's all up to you. And what you're going to need is one file that's in your Daisy Code PBO. I've already unpacked my Daisy Code PBO. It's right here, and inside the system folder is dynamic weather effects. As you can see, these all have the Notepad++ icon next to them. I've already associated Notepad++ with SQF files, so all I have to do is click on them and they open right up. And here you go. It's got a bunch of stuff up here that we don't need to fool with, and right here, the following variables can be changed to tweak the weather behavior. So let's scroll down. The minimum time in minutes for the weather to change, 10 minutes. What happens is it starts off with a certain set of weather, and it'll change at a random time, somewhere in between minimum weather change and maximum weather change. So we have it set to 10 to 20. So somewhere between 10 to 20 minutes, the weather is going to change from sunny to overcast, or to overcast to sunny. Whatever it is, it's gonna make a change in one direction or the other. So by default, it's 10 to 20. The minimum time that weather stays constant between weather changes. So this is 5 minutes. So that's rather random quick. You know, if it's raining or overcast, you know, it can change to something else in 5 minutes. You know, so it's 5 to 10. Minimum and max, 5 to 10 minutes. Fog intensity, 0. Maximum fog is 0.5. I have set it to 1, and yep, you can't see. If you're flying a helicopter and you're right at the tree line, you can just barely see the trees. It is pretty cool once in a while. Overcast. This is your clouds from 0 to 1, minimum to maximum. Rain, 0 to 1. It's set at 0.8 by default. Wind, 0. Now I don't know what the top is. I've set this to 10 and 20, and you know, I haven't had any errors. You know, you don't really know a difference. It would be cool if when you were flying a helicopter, if it would blow you around. Maybe it does, and we just don't notice it. Whether the wind changes when the weather changes. Rain interval. Now what happens is when the overcast, when it gets to overcast at 75%, it's got a good chance to start raining. So this is your probability of it to rain when the overcast is over 75%. And this is the time minimum to a maximum. Maximum is based on the weather change minimum, and maximum down up here. Max weather change and max time between. So it's based on what your times are up there. And then do you want it to stop, or do you want it to possibly continue after it rains? So it rains one time. It might rain for, well, of course, up before we had the weather, so 5 to 10 minutes it'll rain for. Do you want it to stop after it rains 5 to 10 minutes? Yes or no? So what people usually change, most people in these dynamic weather effects, they really want to have clear skies. So all you have to do is you've got the minimum overcast is 0, and the maximum overcast is 1. If you change the maximum overcast to 0, maximum rain to 0, now it doesn't matter. Oops, not 0, 0. Now it doesn't matter what it changes to. You know, we probably want fog to be 0 too. It can change every time. It doesn't matter what your times are set to. It's going to always be maximum overcast is 0, so you're going to have clear skies. Maximum rain is 0, you're going to have no rain. Maximum fog is 0, you're going to have no fog ever. So there you go. You change maximum fog to 0, maximum rain to 0, maximum overcast to 0, and you're going to have clear skies. And then all you have to do is save this file. But we're not going to save it back here in the Daisy Code. We're going to save it into our mission folder so that every player has this file. So we save it. I save all my edits to the Daisy Code, get saved in the fixes folder. And as you can see, I've already got it saved here. And now what we need to do is, now we need to tell the server where to find that dynamic weather effects, because by default it's looking in the DayZ code. So the file that tells the DayZ files, the Armor2, where to find all the files is compiles.sqf. And of course, since that's normally in our DayZ code, that has also been moved to our fixes folder. And what I do, I press Control F, brings up my find, and I type dynamic, and there it is, all the way down to the bottom. Start dynamic weather. By default, it is exec VM z add-ons DayZ code. See, there's our DayZ code system dynamic weather effects. That's the file that we found, and this is where we put it. We put it in our mission folder. Remember, anything that does not have a slash or z add-ons, if it just has a folder, that's the root of our mission folder. So in the root of our mission folder, fixes dynamic weather effects. That's where we're going to find it. And whenever I make changes, I always comment out the default line and just add the new one in below it, so that I know where the original file was. And if I screw up the system and it stops working, all I have to do is come down here and I comment out the new one, uncomment the original, and now I'm back to the original. It's using the default system. So that's the way we do that. Now, one other change that you might want to do is what I do. I don't like clear sunny skies all the time. But what I don't like is I don't like how it rains, and it might rain for 2 minutes or 3 minutes and then it stops. It's just too short random periods. So I changed the minimum weather change to 30 and the maximum weather change to 60. So what this does now is this is going to set the weather to be longer. Whatever it changes, when it changes to overcast or to sunny skies, it's going to stay that way for 30 to 60 minutes. And you could also, I would also change this up here, the minimum time. I'd change that up to, it has to be greater than the minimum weather change. I think this is wrong. It says must be less than or equal to 0. This is actually reversed. So it must be greater than or equal to 0 and less than the minimum time. So less than this. So the text that they have in here is backwards. So it has to be less than the 30. If you set it at 20 and you set the maximum, this must be greater than this. So, and set this one to say 40. And I like the chance of having fog. I think the 0.8 or 1, it's rarely going to get up to be that foggy. I would set the maximum fog up to at least 0.6, 0.7. Maximum overcast, if you want it to rain, you got to set that to 1. Maximum rain, I love a torrential downpour with those big lightning and thunderstorms. Those are cool. So you set the maximum rain to 1, maximum wind to 8, and the rain time. What I like is it to rain. I don't like how it rains for just 2 or 3 minutes and then stops. That's just unrealistic. And part of what drew people to DayZ was the realism modeled into the game. So I would set the minimum rain interval. It has to be greater than 0 and less than the max. And the max here is, of course, based on the 2 intervals that we had before. So I would set this here to say, 25 minutes. So then, if it rains, it's going to rain, for a little while. And then after 25 minutes, then it changes and it may stop raining, it may continue raining. So what we end up with on our server is that we'll have days where it's sunny all the way through the whole 6 hours of the server run from start to restart, or it may get cloudy and foggy and rainy. So you have kind of a realistic. Some days you have shitty rainy days, all day, and some days you have sunny days. So that's kind of what's represented in the game. So that's what I would do with that, and that's the end of that. But most people want clear days, so set your maximum fog, maximum overcast, maximum rain to 0. Save it in your mission file, compiles, and have it load up the fixed version. And there you go. That's all of it.